Hello, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram fam. Welcome to another edition of Route 66 Country Music on a Saturday with Dan Harrison. How are you, Dan?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Yeah, so we had this planned yesterday to do, and I think it's been so long since you've done a release, you forgot how crazy busy you were going to be.
Right, I forgot. It's definitely. I mean, par for the course for 2020. It's going to be
Oh
crazier
God.
than I think it is. So, yeah, it was. I got a little overwhelmed yesterday with all the stuff I had to do, and just kind of lost track of time. So, I appreciate you moving it.
Oh, no problem. Not a problem at all. Your song is amazing. We'll
Thank
go
you.
ahead and talk about that, but we'll wait till later to hear it.
Sure.
We'll make the people wait a little bit.
Right.
But hopefully they've heard it already. Hopefully they've went to Spotify or Apple or wherever they listen to music. I've went to both. Yeah, I'm trying to transition myself from Spotify to Apple, which I like Apple Music.
Yeah,
A little
Apple
bit
Music.
better, I think, actually.
It's
So,
a
but I've
cool.
got you on both my lists.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a cooler design for sure. I like. I mean, they're different things. Title's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Title's pretty cool too. They're all different. It's funny. It's like they're all the same thing, but they're all different in certain ways too. So
Yeah, and it's crazy because my son has always been my youngest son. He's always been like an iPhone user.
right.
I just switched to iPhone like this year, and
Wow.
really, yeah, I'd always been in the Galaxy series and loved Android. I went to iPhone like several years back, but I didn't like it.
Well,
And this year I tried it again, and I just, in fact, got the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and I freaking love it.
I need a new phone. This is
absolutely-
the 6S. I've had this for so long. It is the camera's dead. Like I need because they have that they do that planned obsolescence thing. So I need a new iPhone so bad. I'm hoping one of my siblings or my dad or someone has like an old one that I can because this was an old one too. Like I'm nervous to go to the ones because the 12 whatever one you have doesn't have like the aux input, right? It's just like the one input.
Right. Yeah, correct.
No, I don't like that. I'm not used to that yet. And also the no button. I'm used to a button.
I love that it doesn't have a button
Really?
because that's more Android like.
Hmm.
So I love that it doesn't have the button, but I also have the 11, just the regular 11.
Okay.
And it does not have the aux port either. So, but it's real simple. I mean, I don't have it in here with me or I'll show you, but it's just a little adapter that you plug into the iPhone port and then it will connect to the aux plug. So it's not a big deal. And that little adapter is like $5, I think.
Yeah, it's just another thing to like.
Oh yeah, it's another thing to hang on to. But I Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
I leave the little adapter thing connected to my headphones, and that way I don't lose it.
No, that's good. Yeah. I mean that's the other, like that's why I haven't really done AirPods because like you lose charge and just like I know that I'd lose those.
Oh yeah, me too.
The charge isn't super long and I know I just lose them. And but it was funny. Me and my buddies were talking yesterday. Like, who came up with the name dongle for those things?
Really?
Like, who thought marketing? Like, yeah, we're gonna call these a dongle, and that's gonna be great. So
yeah. I wondered that too the other day when I was looking up something about the iPhone because I'm still like teaching myself about it. And I came across that and I was like, what the? Yeah, I had the same thought as you. I was like, who in the world thought that was a good idea? Yeah.
There's a lot of people, a lot of things. That's just life. But, it's technology is still a good thing. Even if it's frustrating, it's ultimately a good thing. I shudder to think about like what would happen if like COVID had happened like 20 years ago when the internet wasn't like we didn't have the technology that we had. I don't think that the world would be way worse off. Like no question about it.
Oh yeah.
Because we wouldn't have the infrastructure and like the world would actually shut down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's been bad enough.
Right. So, and I'm pretty tired of Zoom interviews and Zoom rights and all that stuff. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's really hard on y'all because it's just not. It's even though, for me, it's been great because I've gotten to know a whole lot of y'all and doing these interviews are so much fun.
Right.
But from your standpoint, I could see it being so aggravating because there's a huge difference of, me and you talking here online versus being in person talking to you.
Right.
You miss out just on that whole body language and being able to interpret.
Well, it's the same thing with writing. I mean, like Can't Take You Anywhere, we actually wrote it on Zoom. And so, I mean, I've had a lot of great writes and I'm pretty good at I don't know, I'm just the kind of guy that gets down to business. Like I don't let it, obviously if you have internet issues, like then that stuff can get in the way and that's frustrating. But I'm normally pretty good at just getting to it, but there's definitely, because that's just the way it is right now, but there's certainly no substitute for being in person with people in the room and bouncing ideas off. And you can't really play together because of the latency. And you can't, one thing you definitely can't do is you can't do track writes. Like if we have a producer in the room, and they have a session open and you're trying to make the track as you're making the song, that's not really possible over Skype or Zoom. It's it's in theory possible. You could have the guy making something and then share his sound, but obviously you can't have one of the other people track it because you're not in the same room, track the vocal or whatever. So it's not ideal for sure, but we're making do with whatever we can. So
yeah, well, I'm just hoping and praying that 2021 is going to be a little bit better.
I think it will be. We're in a period of flux right now, but I think it will be. I do. They're talking about the vaccine is going to be available probably by the summer next year, and not everything will be 100% back to normal, but functionally, I think most people's lives will be a lot better. So I think it'll be interesting to see what is kept from the pandemic, because I know a lot of companies that are selling their office buildings and just saying, hey, just work from home because we don't need to spend the money on the real estate. And so that's interesting to me,
Oh yeah. It's going to be, this has definitely changed how that works. I mean, as well as that, schools, the school system changed so much. My youngest son, Zachary, you met Zachary.
Yeah.
Well, this is his first year of university.
That's crazy.
And
it should be my brother. I think my brother and him are the same age. He should be a freshman right now. He's taking a gap year.
Oh, so he took a year off. There was a lot of Zachary's friends that actually decided to defer and take a year off because of this situation. But Zachary was so excited and anxious to go. And I don't think none of us really thought that it was going to be that dramatically different. But it is.
Right.
He's just, I don't know.
I don't know.
Ahead.
I think there's certain things you can't ultimately replace. So I think live music will come back. Schools are important, not just because the social component is what's important.
Oh yeah.
For kids' development and growth. So they need to be, I think in person is important. And then even in college too. And same with the work environment, even though you can work from home, there's things that you miss out on not being in person. And you don't have to the barrier of contact is none. You just hey, so there's definitely, you're always sacrificing certain things, but I think you're going to see a lot more of a mix than there used to be. And it's interesting with medicine too, because telehealth was something that a lot of doctors and hospitals were trying to get up and running before this. And then it just kind of all happened at once. I think you're going to see a lot more of a mix of things. Things will go back to normal, but it'll be gradual and everyone at their own pace, which is, the way it is. So.
Oh yeah. I like the telehealth aspect of it. Actually, I've done a couple of doctor's appointments that way during this. And when it's just a follow-up, just a checkup, you have nothing going on. It's perfect.
Right. No, I agree with that completely. There's definitely some benefits. So the only thing is I feel we live in such a culture of canceling and last minute things. And so definitely COVID is used as that, and it is still legitimate for a lot of reasons, but it just feels like people are falling back on it now. It's oh, I'm not going to do this because of COVID or blah, blah, blah. It's COVID doesn't really have anything to do with this. You can connect it somehow, but whatever the people are gonna do what they do. So I'm just waiting for shows to come back. I think I think live music is something you ultimately can't replace. Live streams are cool, but you can't replace live music. And the only thing that I'm worried about is middle and lower and middle tier artists kind of like fighting for shows, because everyone's going to be clamoring back. Obviously the major artists like are their teams are like booking, like Luke Combs already rebooked his whole tour for next year. But the thing is we don't actually know if he'll be able to start it then. He might have to push it back again, but I just think you're gonna have so many people that are going to want to play, and it's gonna be really, really hard to for guys who are trying to play like anything over a 50 cap or 100 cap venue. It's gonna be really difficult for a lot of people. So, that'll be interesting to see what happens. So,
unless you already had your foot in the door to these venues, and maybe you had like a tour booked last year that you just are simply trying to rebook.
Right.
You might have, the heads up on somebody else. But otherwise, exactly like you say, everybody's going to be fighting for that spot.
Right. That's going to be tough. I'm not looking forward to that, but that'll just kind of come as it comes. So I mean, I've been doing a lot, obviously, this whole year with studio writing and producing and recording mostly anyway. I've been fortunate to do some live shows, so I haven't lost the total edge, but definitely a lot. It's grown the more like what do you call it? The studio side of my stuff a lot more, which has been great. And that's ultimately long-term really, really important as well. So,
but I feel like if you're used to doing live shows and then y'all have been out of it for 8-9 months now.
Right.
That's like, it's hard work being out there on stage and doing, it's physically demanding.
It's a muscle too. It's like you're in a certain shape.
Sure. Yeah. So you've lost that. And so, to just jump right back into it and do a 3-hour show, to me would seem like it would be a little bit difficult.
It's a lot. On one level, like you have time to practice, but there's a difference between practice and actually being up there. Because it's not just about playing the songs; it's about engaging the crowd and being a presence. That's something I learned a lot from being here. There's a lot of great singers and players, and how can you entertain? We're entertainers as well as musicians. That's why Garth Brooks is as amazing as he is, or Kenny Chesney or Eric Church or any of those big stadium guys. They put on a show. Of course, they can sing and they have great songs and great players, and some of them can play really well. Keith Urban, even, they put on a show. And that's like the final piece of the puzzle for any artist, I think, is putting together that show that's compelling and draws people in.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be a lot to kind of get back, since we haven't been able to like work on that for so long. So that's definitely been one of the tougher parts of this whole thing, for sure.
So, for sure. Yeah. Well, let's have you play us a song.
Sure. Let me see. I was kind of looking at what we got here. So I just wrote this one recently. I thought it'd be kind of fun. I took my first trip outside of Nashville since COVID started to see my family in California, my grandmother and all that, because my grandmother's not doing too well, unfortunately. But
I'm sorry.
It's okay. She's 93. It happens, but you're never ready, kind of thing.
Oh no.
But I just happened to write this actually before I went out there. It was kind of funny. This one's called Ocean. This one's just about kind of similar to Can't Take You Anywhere. I think it's a kind of a love song, and but it was cool. My buddy pitched it to us on the right, and I was like, Lady A already has a song. Like I'm pretty like sticklery about titles. Like the title has to be interesting to me, or just you got to like do something with it that like is unexpected. So and this is just a fun one. I like it. It's cool. It'd be a fun one to play at the beach, and hopefully kind of brings that vibe. So yeah,
all right.
This is Ocean. deep blue for a million miles. White sand and your bare feet smile. Gold sun and a bronze air breeze. Sound of the high tide hitting the beach. Single string hanging like it wants to drop. Feel a wave crashing, girl, don't stop. Your body's curving like the coastline. You better throw me a lifeline. Feels like I'm falling in the ocean. 'Cause your skin is really pulling me down and trying to float in. The tan lines touching your hips, but taking the dip, that salty taste on your lips. I swear it's got me going under, like summer in your southern beach stunner. No other. I'm way out here in the open. There's no hope when you got me drowning in your ocean. I was just splashing the surface. Now I'm all caught up in your current. The kind that makes a lifeguard nervous. But the water's perfect. Feels like I'm falling in the ocean. 'Cause your skin is really pulling me down and trying to float in. The tan lines touching your hips. Taking the dip, that salty taste on your lips. I swear it's got me going under. It's summer and you're a southern beach stunner like no other. I'm way out here in the open. There's no hope when you got me drowning in your ocean. You got me drowning in your ocean. As the bottom's getting deeper, I'm forgetting how to swim. But I'm rolling with the motion, sinking like a sunken shell. It feels like I'm falling in the ocean. 'Cause your skin's really pulling me down and trying to float in. The tan lines touching your hips, taking the dip, that salty sun on your lips. I swear it's got me going under. It's summer and you're a southern beach stunner like no other. I'm way out here in the open. There's no hope when. Just the dirty little pre. We added like a tag here at the end, like maybe for the more explicit version. You covered all over in lotion. It's so soaking. Feels like I'm drowning in your ocean. Yeah, you got me drowning in your ocean.
Yeah, I like that. It's Sarah commented definitely a beach song.
Right.
Yeah, definitely a good summer vibe beach
that's
song.
what we were going for. It's just a simple, the more that I write, I mean, we always try as writers to like do simple or to do clever things. And I'm all about that. I'll try and play a more clever one next maybe, but I mean, it's clever in a different way. Like I'm talking about wordplay, I guess. But you know, it's really cool to do simple ones that are just like visual and all that too. So that works. Yeah, so
you could definitely visualize that song.
Yes, that's what you got to do with a simple title like that. You got to knock it out of the park. That's but I like that one. Yeah.
All right, so you just put out Can't Take You Anywhere. Is that just a single, or is that going to be part of an EP you've got coming up? Or I'm finishing up recording some. I'd actually play some of those potentially. I have 6 songs for an EP that I'm doing. Can't Take You Anywhere may be put on there, but I'm not sure. I've had these songs planned for a little while, and Can't Take You Anywhere kind of just came out on its own, and I thought, hey, this is a great, like, since I haven't put a song out in a while, like it kind of fits with where I'm going, but it sort of stands on its own, and I think it's relevant, and so that kind of came separately. But I've just finished the demos for my 6-song EP, and I haven't announced anything about it yet. I might be doing some sort of Kickstarter thing for it. So I'm trying to figure that whole piece out, but I'm really excited about it. They're songs I really, really believe in. I think that they're the songs that I came to Nashville to write, like in the sense that telling my story, figuring out who I am as an artist, what I want to say, my sound. And so I've been spending a lot of time on it for sure. And I'm hoping that it leads to bigger things. And yeah, so that there'll definitely be an announcement for that at some point, maybe in the next month or two. I'm kind of getting through this single first, and the goal was to like remind people like, hey, I remember me, kind of thing. So
and 2020 is a weird year. I was hesitant to release anything this year, honestly, but I just, it's been so long anyway, and it feels good to put it out there. And I got a lot of great content for it too. We got a dope music video we just shot this week that's getting taken care of, and some lyric video, acoustic video, a lot of great content, and I'm really excited to share that for the song. And I love Can't Take You Anywhere. Can't Take You Anywhere is also the kind of song I moved here to write, just a straight up, bop, and it's a fun one, and I really think that people will like it that haven't listened to it, give it a chance, and I think it has a lot of potential. So, but yeah, this is it's like kind of on its own, but it's sort of leading into some other stuff. I just haven't really like announced anything yet. Yeah.
Well, I definitely like it. It's definitely, in my opinion, can stand alone if that's what you choose for it to do. I was so anxious for it to come out. I was just like ready, because you're kind of the opposite of what a lot of artists have done this year. A lot of artists have just been like writing, putting out, writing and releasing. Just it's almost like as much as they could release songs, they were.
Yeah, well, and that's why I was hesitant to even put anything out, because there's so much content more than ever. But that's why I thought it's important to like focus on one thing, do it well, like especially when you don't have a large team, when you're an independent artist. Like, I've learned the hard way here, quality over quantity, and kind of really focusing in on picking a thing and honing in on it and doing it, and trying to not spread yourself too thin. I definitely still do. That's just the nature of being here, and also 2020, and just I got a million things all going on all the time, and it feels like I never have a second to breathe. But that's part of the adventure, and you kind of grow and get better at handling it, I think, as you go along. And this year has just been a big old test for anybody in this industry, and so I just like it really is every day. This has just been more so. And I think the people that are going to get through this are going to do really well, and I know I'm going to be one of those people. And I wanted to put something out because I wanted to put something out because I wanted to at least show something for all the work I've done this year.
Right.
But I didn't want to put all my eggs I wanted kind of to not rush it either, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally.
Let it take the time it needs to take. We had this song recorded a while ago, like it was finished probably in July. But it just took a while to like get the content together, figure out a plan, plenty of people, because plenty of people can just release music. There's so much being released all the time, but trying to have a strategy to push it, ads and like videos and stuff. So it took a little bit more time than I would have liked, but I'm really glad it's out and in the world, and people can share it, and there's more on the way. So
awesome. Yeah. I like your way of doing things. Like, you've got all the content for this song already arranged, done, or in the works before you ever even release this song.
That's what we try to do, for sure. I mean, it has its pros and cons. I mean, I like to have as much planned as possible. There's always room for spontaneity, but when people, and I guess you could release the music video 6 months after the song's out, but normally you want the reason you make the content is to push people to the song.
Right. So
if the song's out, and you want people to stream it, have stuff that's going to push people towards it. So that's always been the thought for me. And just the people that I've worked with have always like said, like, make sure you have all that stuff good to go. I mean, there's artists that have like a whole 2 years planned, like they'll have all the content and everything ready to go. And I'd like to get there eventually. I just don't, I need to have the resources and the team to be able to build all that up and then just kind of put it all out. So it just takes time.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And back to what you were saying about, you wanted to put something out to let people know you're still here and you're going to be here. Mm-hmm. And people that, there are going to be some people that don't make it through COVID, that, and I don't mean
musically in terms of career rise. Yeah.
Career wise. And so I think COVID is going to, because everybody knows Nashville is flooded with wonderful artists.
Right.
And not just singers, but, guitar players, drummers, everything.
Right, everything.
And so for those that didn't or couldn't stay in Nashville because of all of this, I think it kind of lended to weed out I don't want to use the word weak, not weak ones, but maybe the
Yeah.
ones that were not like 100% dedicated to this being their career.
Right. Right.
Kind of like,
Well,
oh, I'll try it, and if it works, great. If not, oh well. So
definitely.
I don't feel like those kind of people are going to make it.
Right. You got to be committed to it. I mean, doing whatever I can to stay afloat and survive, but you know, I'm here for this. I'm not, because yeah, sure, I could get a full-time job. I went to college and I had a full-time job, but and I may even need to still at one point during this time if gigs and production and all the music related money things that I'm trying to do, if they're just not there, then I might not have a choice. But it's an attitude thing too, because there are still people that even have full-time jobs and are busting their ass for music. So whatever situation is going to, until I get that and reach my goals, not going to stop me from reaching my goals. And I think it's the people that have that attitude, and maybe it's because I've already been there, that I've had the 9-to-5 job, I've seen the other side, that I'm like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. That's not happening. And there aren't. That isn't to say that there aren't. Sometimes there's like, man, it would be really nice to have consistent income right now, but you got to think big picture. You know, it's
oh yeah,
near term versus long term, and obviously still like make sure like you're a functioning adult and have your bills paid and stuff like that. But you know, how bad do you want it? That's
exactly. How bad you want it is going to determine the outcome, and it's crazy to me, the people. And I think it's a misconception that's put out into the non-music industry world. Because before I got involved in it, I was one of those really naive people that thought, okay, well, if you go on The Voice and you do good, you know, maybe you're in the, you know, top 15 or top 20, whatever. Same with American Idol. Somebody's going to notice you and boom, you're going to have a career. Nope.
No,
does not work that way.
A handful of people it's worked for, like Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, Chris Doctor, but Chris Doctor didn't even win. So there's so much more to it than that. It's really for those shows specifically, you're getting cast as a TV character essentially. And some people it works, you get cast for other things after, but a lot of them that's kind of just it for them.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you think about how many people there are trying out for those shows, and then I mean, it's like literally finding a needle in a haystack if you're the one that that automatically gets this ginormous career out of it.
Right. There's so much that even if you win that, you're still a new artist, and there's still a lot of development and things that have to be done So
and you're stuck in one heck of a contract that you can't get out of.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The farther, there's definitely like a sweet spot of like being on those shows, like you want to get cut. It's in the right before the top 25 or like just around there, and because then the contracts start to come, and it's you don't want to deal with that. So I've tried out for those shows, but that's not what makes or breaks a career.
No. Mm-mm. So you tried out for Voice and American Idol, or?
I tried out for them both, yeah. And I've gotten past a few. I've never gotten on the show itself, but I've made it to like really like literally just before that.
Yeah.
And I think at that point it's just a casting choice. Like, do they have a guy like me? I believe in myself. I don't need a TV show to tell me that I'm a great singer and
exactly.
So, and would it be nice to do it? Sure. It'd be cool for like the exposure and all that. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But ultimately, it's not something that's going to make the difference.
I remember one time watching American Idol and them literally telling somebody, like, you're really good, you're great, you're just not what we're looking for this year.
Right.
So before they even start, letting people audition, they know what they want.
They know what they want. Yeah. And you're either lucky enough to be in that or not. And that's fine either way. So.
Yeah. And people that didn't get far enough to figure out how the shows work or know somebody that's been through it or whatever, you keep that mindset of thinking, oh, I wasn't good enough to make it on.
Right.
I think it's really detrimental to some people because
and I used to be that way, but it's that's not it. You can't think that way.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. What advice would you give to somebody? Because you've been doing this for a little while now. What advice?
I don't know if I'm qualified to give advice, but I think it's just the same thing that I've been told. It's just you got to stick with it. There's a lot of talented people, but drive is talent. Hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard every time. You know, plenty of people that I know that have given up already, or aren't pursuing or pushing. I think they're way more talented than I am, but at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want?
Right.
Yeah, I think just sticking with it. Life, like anything in life worth having, doesn't come easy. Life, as well as music industry, as well as life in general, is a marathon, not a sprint. Nothing happens overnight.
No.
That's just the way. It's frustrating to hear because I get it told all the time. It's like, oh, you're great, just keep at it and blah blah blah, and it's true. But it's just like you gotta just find those things. You have to enjoy the journey too, because if you don't enjoy the journey, then it's not gonna be fun. So it's you're always looking for that next checkpoint, and like with the big goal still up ahead, seeing it, but you got to learn to like see where you're going along the way, I think.
Absolutely. I love that you said that, because that's really a good, you have to enjoy the journey. I love that statement right there. You can't get so caught up in what you want at the end of the journey that you don't enjoy the process of getting there.
Right.
Then I think, and I really hope that's one thing that a lot of people will take out of this year. And because I think pre-COVID, so many people, me included, easily took things for granted.
Oh, there's so many.
Easily took so many things for granted. And I really hope, and you were talking about your grandmother. I lost my grandmother a month ago.
Yeah.
To COVID.
Oh.
And she was 95, almost 95 years old. So she had lived a full, wonderful, beautiful life.
It's still,
but still, like you said, you're not prepared to lose your grandma, no matter what. But it's just like, after that, I'm like, family was always important to me, but even like more so now. It's like,
this year shows people what's most important to them, and
absolutely,
for some people, they might realize, music's not really that important. It's not really worth doing this for me anymore, or I realize
it makes you push harder.
Yeah, or makes you push harder. And for me, it's made me push harder. And I mean, it's also made me realize how important family and friends are and the people we care about. And it's all those things. So I think what it's done, the main thing for me this year is it's just kind of like lowered my tolerance for bullshit. I'm just not going to deal with certain things like I am, but I'm not like, because you got to do what you got to do within, hustling for music. But like on a broad based level, I'm not going to stress about things that are out of my control. Because if there's also one thing that this year has shown is there's so much that is not in our control. Oh, and you just gotta learn to adapt as people. That's my dream hasn't changed. How it's going to happen might change, because you just adapt. That's what humans do, is we adapt to our circumstance. And so that's, I think, the right people across the world that's what you're going to see in whatever context. So,
right. And it's just a matter of you either being in the right place at the right time, or putting that right song out there that just connects with so many people that it just flies up the chart. It's, you never know what it's going to be. Excuse me. You never know what it's going to be that's going to, be that thing for you. Whatever that thing is for, I have the hiccups now. Whatever that thing is for you that, gets you to that point may not be the same thing for somebody else, and vice versa.
Right.
So
that's the other thing. Everyone's path is different and unique. So to try and like compare to other people, which is something that I am guilty of doing still, and probably will always be on a certain level, but you can't do it. Everyone's different. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right.
Yeah.
On the word different, let's hear us another song.
There we go. That's a transition. I'm trying to think, what should I play? I'll play that. It's sort of like a work in progress. I like the lyrics how they are, but we might tweak a few things. This is one that, it's actually funny. Me and a couple of my buddies, we started it like when I first moved here, like over 2 years ago. Didn't didn't touch it until like a month or two ago. Like we started it and then like just weren't getting anywhere. Kind of let it be. I was like, you know what? I want to finish that song. It's a cool idea, and I think it's worth doing. And so we did it, and I think it's pretty cool. But let me see. I'm just trying to remember this piece right here.
Oh, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, it's still a little bit work in progress, but I like it, and it's a fun one. This one's called Heartland.
Heartland. All right. It's my favorite TV show.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. Do you drink it straight up? Do you like a little ice? Or would you rather be uptown, or are you home in this downtown dive? Or should I keep talking, or do you wanna be alone tonight? Help me understand. Where does your heart land? Do you bleed Hawkeye black, or are you Razorback red? Were you a wild child, or do you do what your mama said? Do you want to stay here, or should we hit another spot instead? Tell me what's the plan. Where does your heart land? 'Cause I ain't trying to just waste your time, but I got a feeling that this feels right, from the way that we're both leaning in. Girl, I swear I ain't drank that much, but something about you got me all tripped up, and I'm thinking that I might lose my balance. So if I start to fall, would you take my hand? Or would you let my heart land? I'd be lying if I told you I ain't ever felt fast before. But I'm wondering if you catch me before I hit the floor. 'Cause I ain't trying to just waste your time, but I got a feeling that this feels right, from the way that we're both leaning in. Girl, I swear I ain't drank that much, but something that you got me all tripped up, and I'm thinking that I might lose my balance. So if I start to fall, would you take my hand? Would you let my heart land? Oh, would you let my heart land in your arms? Let it land in a kiss next to yours on a night like this. 'Cause I ain't trying to just waste your time, but I got a feeling that this feels right, from the way that we're both leaning in. Girl, I swear I ain't drank that much, but something that you got me all tripped up, and I'm thinking I might lose my balance. So if I start to fall, would you take my hand? Would you let my heart land? Still a bit of a work in progress, but I really like pretty much like 90% of it. So
I like it. Yeah. And you went somewhere different with Heartland than I thought you were going
that's
to.
the point.
Yeah, of course.
That's more the clever. Yeah, I didn't use it. That's a better example, like contrasting with Ocean. Like that's like a simple one. You just make it super visual and fun.
Yeah.
This one's more like it's a simple idea in the sense it's essentially a pickup song, but girl, like love at first sight kind of thing. But it's just how do you phrase that in a way that hasn't been said before? So
exactly, I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always hard to find good ideas that haven't been done before. But even if they have been done before, the thing I'm also learning the longer I'm here, there's only so many ideas, and you have so many different people. Like my buddy wrote a song. I just found out recently. He wrote a song recently called "It's a Girl," and I wrote that exact same song. Obviously, they sound different specific lyrics, but it's the same idea, same hook, same progression. of narrative, like not same chord progression, same progression of story. And it's like, well, that's what happens. We're all in the same town that you're trying to do it. So I'm sure there's a Heartland out there. In fact, I think like this girl, Haley Witters, I think might have had one, but it's like a different, it's the same flip, but it's like using it in a different context.
Yeah.
So you just got to be as creative as you can and hope it lands. So
That's where it blows my mind, you songwriters, that y'all are, in which it really shouldn't surprise me that much. I mean, I used to write poetry, so it's the same premise, but it just amazes me how y'all can like sit down and write a song in an hour.
It usually doesn't take an hour. It usually takes a little bit more than that. But honestly, like, the more you write, like the easier. I don't want to say easier. It's a muscle like anything else. So like, you just get it down. Like I say like most of the time it probably takes like a 3-hour session, but I'm usually pretty good at finishing a draft in that time, especially with co-writers.
That's still crazy.
I mean, not every song is like that. Like, some songs take a long time. Some hit songs took years. And, I think Nashville has it's striking this balance between being efficient and good, but also like sometimes people just try and get shit done to get that. And I think they miss out on an opportunity to kind of like really like fine tune it, which LA is a little bit better about. They sort of take their time with the music, but I don't know. There's pros and cons to both. Nashville can certainly do great with that stuff too, but they're very much like when you're in the writing rooms, it's like this 9 to 5 thing. It's like, oh, got to get it done. It's like, song's not necessarily done yet. You'll pick it back up later. But I mean, I know there's two stories that always make me think, like, I'm always trying to write as quickly as possible, but at the same time, like, even if I write a song in one session, I always take a step back and come back to it and see, okay, what do we like here? What is not making actual sense? Cop Car, the Sam Hunt song that Keith Urban actually cut first, went to #1 for at least one of them and was top 5 for both of them for sure. That song apparently took like 5 3-hour writing sessions, like 15 hours, I think, just to write it. So It's not that, but like, that's just what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Sam is particularly like, he's very specific about words and stuff like that. So he's a little bit slower moving, but he's the kind of guy that, like, when he says something, it's right, Yeah. So, and then The House That Built Me, the Miranda Lambert song, that song.
I love that song.
Yeah, it's so great. There's varying accounts, but like they say that song took 7 years. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that was from when it was written to when it went out, but I know that they kept rewriting it and it took years for sure, because it's close. The idea is there, but it's like, it's not quite there. And that's the thing. That's the worst thing to hear when you're here in town sometimes is when I hear a really great song idea, like, or a hook or a title, but the actual song is poorly written and like doesn't reach up to the level that you hoped it would for it. And that's an example when you might take that idea from someone, and like, I'm going to do that better. And then it's not copying. It's like trying to make it turning the basic fundamental idea into a different song, into its own thing. So I don't know.
Like, if you're always trying to better yourself, and with each song you write, I would imagine that you want it to be better than the last.
Right.
How do you know when you're like done with that song? What tells your mind, okay, this is good enough, I'm going to stop here? Because I feel like as an artist, you could almost like torture yourself to
100%
make it perfect.
And I do. And I think everyone goes through that, especially with certain songs still. I think the thing happens is, like, the more you work out the muscle, like when I first moved here, I was just writing nonstop. Still write a ton, but I'm a little bit more spread out about it, because I have other things I got to do with recording and artist stuff and social media, etc. But quality eventually overtakes the quantity thing. You start with the quantity to kind of get the muscle down and the practice and the intuition down. So you get to the point where, still it could be subjective, but I think that you can start to get a sense like, okay, I know that this is not where I'm reading this and I'm saying, like, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that sounds good. That's right. But I really know, like, it's not quite sitting right. You just develop an intuition, I think. And ultimately you sometimes just have to make a call. It's like, this isn't done, but I'm not sure what to do. So I need to just take a step back. Or, I mean, that's the great thing about having co-writers too. Cause I mean, I do write songs by myself, but it's, writing with co-writers is the best because you guys all bring your strengths together and heighten each other. And I feel like every song that I've written that I'm cut if I tried to write that on my own, it might be pretty good, but it wouldn't be as great as it is. So
Yeah.
I've only become better from the people here. And I think that sort of also ties back into what you were asking with how do you know when a song's done? I think that's part of what collaboration and teamwork is. And obviously there can be disagreements. And sometimes I come back, like I've come back when we were in the process of recording and I'm like, fuck, actually, like we need to change that line. It didn't. That's why you make demos. That's why you sit with things, because shit, your view of something that you make could change over time. And I mean, you don't want to, like you said, you got to know when to like stop yourself and be like, I wish we did. Cause sometimes it's like, I wish we did that. But like, for next time, there's not really going back and doing the thing. So every artist is different. I definitely try and stick it out as long as I can, but it's sometimes you just got to know like, this song is done. I think it's always important to try and finish a song. Ed Sheeran has this quote. Did you ever watch his documentary, Songwriter? Oh, you got to watch it. It's on Apple Music. It's so good. And anybody who's a fan of music, or
and I love Ed Sheeran too.
And in music in some way, got to watch it. He talks about how like songwriting is like a faucet, like a brand new faucet. Like when you turn it on, it's like kind of shitty for the first time. Like there's like stuff coming out. It's like not fully pure and clear yet. You got to like just keep it running, keep doing the craft, and until you get to a point where it starts to become clearer and nice and good quality water, and you're actually a really great songwriter. The other thing to keep in mind, though, because I feel this way, I do try and never have any unfinished songs. I have some for sure. Like I have a spreadsheet where I keep track of all my co-writes and songs, because I don't ultimately ever want to have unfinished songs. Sometimes you do for one reason or another, but I think it's important creatively to finish a song, even if you're like, this is shit and I'm never going to do anything with this, to get it out of your mind and be like, that chapter's closed, on to the next thing. It's really important. It's really important, I think, for to try and finish what you start, especially in music. So,
that was going to be a question that I had too, is if you had like, I'm sure you have a huge catalog of songs, and do you have like those songs that you got them, maybe they're not done or maybe they are done, but you're just like, I'm just not really feeling that one right now, and you kind of put it back on the shelf? Do you ever go back and like pick up those songs and be like, this one's been on my mind today or on my heart, whatever, and I want to do this to make it better?
Yeah, that absolutely happens. Shit can cross my mind and be like, oh, like something in just daily life will remind me of a song that I've written. I'm like, oh, wait, that's what we need to do with that line. Sometimes it just comes,
Yeah.
And I mean, that's definitely one of the songs that's going on my EP, which I could play next. I don't know if I should maybe play Can't Take You Anywhere instead, because that's out. But
hey, you can play both.
I could play both.
It's my show. I make the rules.
Right.
You can play both.
It's a song that I wrote for a while ago with this girl, Kaylin Robertson. She's awesome. She's actually from North Carolina.
Yeah, I know her.
And she's great artist in town. And we wrote it, me and her, a while ago, and like I thought it was cool, but I just kind of put it away and was like, whatever. And then when I was thinking about songs for the EP, I already knew like all of them except for I needed like one more, and I'm like, what do I have? Like, do I just need to try and write another one? And then I came back across this one, and I'm like, oh, you know what? This song is actually really, really, I'm vibing this, and it's like, it's hitting me right now. I think we do like a small tweak, but like I want to chase this one, and that's what I did. I mean, we took another look at it, like ironed out a couple small things, and I just demoed it up, and it sounds great, and I'm really excited for it. It's kind of got like a Lady A vibe. It's about, it's called So Far So Good, and it's sort of about long distance relationships, and because that's unfortunately been my majority of my relationships have had a distance component, usually always unintentionally, really, but it's just kind of the way the dice is rolled. My girlfriend was here with me in Nashville, but she's been back in Philly, where we're from and where I met her, since March. I haven't seen her since March, and I'm going to see her next. Yeah, I know. I'm going to see her next week, finally, for the first time in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's been tough. I mean, when that wasn't planned, we were distanced before she moved here. I was here for almost 2 years until she moved here. and then she was like finally here for like 4 or 5 months and then like left. So, but
Oh.
my hope is she'll be back really soon. And we talk every day, of course. So
That's
yeah,
tough, though.
it's tough, but that's kind of, but you know, that's sort of what this song was about, is to say like, you know, it ain't easy, but it's worth it. It's essentially what the song is about. If you find the right person, like I wouldn't be with her if I didn't want to be with her, like, cause there's no reason to like hold on to something that, why are you doing it? So, I mean, that doesn't mean some days aren't really freaking hard and you're like, why does this have to be this way? But you know, when you're together with them, it's all worth it, kind of thing. So I could play that one next, and then we can end with "Can't Take You Anywhere." I guess. Sure. Now that I've talked enough about it. So,
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's supposed to be a duet, actually. So I'll just sing. I'm just going to be singing my parts, and you'll just have to imagine. Caitlin's actually going to duet it with me.
I was going to ask you that if she was going to do it since she wrote it. That's cool.
Yeah, she's gonna duet it with me, so we'll have to imagine her singing. But yeah, this one's called "So Far So Good."
All right.
All right. Let's get this here. I'm gonna kick this up real quick. So far, it's been about 18 months. I'm putting miles on our cars and our hearts, thinking about giving. People say that we're crazy, it ain't gonna last when you're looking at 500 miles from behind the dash and 2 tanks of gas. I could find someone else where I'm at, and you probably could too. But they wouldn't love me anywhere close to the way you do. Yeah, there'll always be an even better place and time. So if we waited for that, we'd be waiting for our whole lives. But so far, so good. We've been holding on tight best as we could. And it hurts, you're not by my side every night, but we make it work with the distance. Cause it's worth it every minute. When loving you feels like I know it should. We're so far, but it's so good. I still hang out with all of your friends, cause it still kind of feels like you're here when I'm with them. My face on your phone is what you fall asleep to, and we still make them jealous even when we ain't in the same room. And they couldn't do what we do and make it so far, so good. We've been holding on tight best as we could. It hurts, not by my side every night, but we make it work with the distance. Cause it's worth it every minute. When loving you feels like I know it should. So far, but it's so good that we know someday we'll close the gap, get back in the same place. When anyone asks how we're doing, we won't have to say, so far, so good. So far, so good. We've been holding on tight best as we could. And it hurts, you're not by my side every night, but we make it work with the distance. Cause it's worth it every minute. When loving you feels like I know it should. So far, but it's so good. So far, so good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Thank you.
That sounds perfectly like you and your girlfriend.
Right. No, we
That-
wrote it. So me and her at the time were both in long distance relationships, and that's sort of where it came from. And I don't think she is anymore, but I
Yeah.
still am. And so that resonated. It resonated a lot with me, I think, because I re-listened to it like during COVID at some point. And I was like, shit, like I'm back in this situation again. Because all the songs I picked for my EP, I really wanted to like sort of represent my life story in some way. And so a lot of them are personal. I obviously haven't played all of them, but I'm really excited. And I just wanted to like tell me like that's what country music is. Like I'm not talking about back roads in a way that I can't relate to. Like I wasn't born on a farm. I didn't get stuck mudding. Like if I'm going to talk about that stuff, it's going to be from my perspective that is true. It's one thing if I'm writing the song just to write it or with an artist or whatever, pitching, but for my stuff, I think it's important because country values authenticity more than anything. And I want to be authentic, and my love for country music and the way I identify with it is true, but like finding my way to express that is what has been my artist journey. And so I think I've gotten pretty dang on there doing it. And it's just, that's going to grow as I grow, obviously, but I feel pretty good about it. And it starts with Can't Take You Anywhere. So I can take us home with Can't Take You Anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this one, this is a fun one. You guys can find it anywhere you stream music. Make sure I'm a little in tune. I was a little. There we go. All right. We can walk by the river under that August moon, or we can fly to the mountains, hit a sky-high saloon. But wherever we end up, you got me shaking my head. When I take one look at you, I'm seeing right through that dress. I can't take you anywhere. From Rio to Rome, the second we get there, I wanna take you back home. The way you're moving, I lose it. And girl, it ain't fair how you take me to heaven, but I can't take you anywhere. I should have more control, but you ain't been no help. 'Cause that strap off your shoulder ain't fixing itself. You love making trouble, love causing a scene, and I want all that trouble so damn selfishly. I can't take you anywhere. From Rio to Rome, the second we get there, I wanna take you back home. The way you're moving, I lose it. Girl, it ain't fair how you take me to heaven. I can't take you anywhere, so let's get out of here. You take my breath, you take my heart, just like it's nothing. So I wanna take your hand and take off running. 'Cause I can't take you anywhere. From LA to New York, the second we get there, I wanna head straight for that door. The way I'm moving, I lose it. And girl, it ain't fair how you take me to heaven, but I can't take you anywhere. How you take me to heaven, but I can't take you anywhere. 'Cause girl, you take me to heaven, I can't take you anywhere. So let's get out of here. baby, let's get out of here. Can't take you, can't take you, can't take you anywhere. Yeah, can't take you, can't take you, can't take you anywhere. Thank you.
And that one, everybody, is out. Spotify, Apple, Pandora, YouTube, wherever you find music, it's there. Go stream it, download it, whatever you do. I have it on both.
Thank you. I love it. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I love that song. It's great. All right.
Feel good. I think this year needs some feel good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's relatable. That's the good thing about country music. Most country music is relatable to someone somewhere.
That's what we try to do, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't connect with somebody, then there's a problem. But yeah, typically it does.
Yeah.
But, a couple of fun questions, just really quick, and then we'll let you go. All right. If you could only do one, would you prefer to sing on stage or in the studio?
That's tough. I love both. I love the crowd. I love doing that. I think the studio is cool. It's cool to be in there, but it's not like the thrill, you know?
Yeah.
It's tough to say because, like, I think a lot of guys, like, you want to be on the road, but eventually when you get older, like, you don't necessarily want to have to be on the road all the time. So I think right now I'd probably, especially because I'm not getting to play that much. I record all the time.
Yeah.
I would probably say sing live for sure. For sure. I love that. The studio is great too, and they're different animals, and you know, learning to sing in both is they take different things, you know.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of overlap, but there are some differences. So, but I definitely would probably have to lean live. I think that's the truth. I mean, listen, the bands that I love are always great live, and I want to be great live, and that's important. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. I think not anybody, but I mean, singing live, it's real, it's raw, it's you.
Yeah. And there might be mistakes, and that's okay, because the thing with the studio too is everything's so polished, and that's fine, and that's part of what it is right now. But some of my favorite actually versions of songs are the live versions, because there's room for spontaneity, and obviously, you know, it's just part of that.
You're feeding off the crowd.
Right. You're feeding off the crowd. Bruce Springsteen's a master of that. I love his live stuff.
Oh,
You know, Eric Church is great live. All those guys. John Mayer's live stuff is so good. Oh, my God. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you thought that question was tough. This one. Writing or singing?
Oh, I feel like you asked me this one before.
I think I did. Yes, because my brother wanted me to ask you that.
Yeah.
That's right. We did. That's where I got that question from, was him. All right. So we'll skip that one because we know the answer to that already.
Yeah. That was also similarly complicated. It's like two sides to the same coin. I love writing and singing. That's just like, you can't, I don't know. I mean, twist my arm, maybe singing, because it's just such a natural physical expression. If I actually, so to be candid for a second, I was having some vocal issues last year, and I like seriously doubted my future for a little bit. I'm much better now, and I've learned a lot, and I'm really thankful for the people that have helped me, my vocal coaches and Vanderbilt Medical Vocal Health Center. But I learned a lot, and I learned, as much as I love writing and how important that is, if I'm not able to express the writing, I like, it's cool to have other people sing my songs, but it's like missing a limb if I can't sing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I really, the singing is so ingrained in me naturally. The writing actually came later for me, and I love writing, and it's made me a better singer. It's made me better everything. None of this matters without great writing, really, but the singing is like a physical piece of me. Like I can't force that. So I probably would have to lean that way.
That makes sense. That's cool. I like that answer. You're always so deep with your answers. I love that.
Yeah, I try to trim it down. That's why I love songwriting, because it forces you to say what you need to say in the right way in a short amount of time, because I can tend to tend to ramble otherwise.
Hey, I do too. No, that's why I love talking to you. All right, what is your go-to food?
Like of any kind, like
Yeah, any kind. What's your favorite food?
that I could eat all the time. I just had Mexican. I do love Mexican food, but I also love. This is a bit. This might be a bit left field. I don't know, but I grew up. I was born in LA, and I grew up in Philly, and like went to New York a lot. And I'm Jewish, and it's very a lot of like. There's a very specific like kind of cultural cuisine, like the Jewish New York deli kind of thing. I
Yeah.
love going to an old school deli. Like here in Nashville, they have Noshville, which I think was like some New York people that came down here. One of my favorite spots. Yeah, I mean it's just like sandwiches and soups, but it's just like reminds me, it's comfort food, but it's like reminds me of home and growing
Yeah.
up, and it's just like it's the best. I could eat it every day easily. So that stuff is definitely up there for me. I also love Thai food. Thai food definitely has to be. I could eat Thai food every day. I love Thai food.
My son got me to try that one day, and I was scared to try it because I thought it was gonna be hot. I thought everything was gonna be like spicy hot.
Oh yeah, there's
And
different levels.
it's not. It's not,
No.
and it's really good.
There's different levels, and I've actually Asian spice is is a different kind of spice than like. I mean, they're even within like Asia, like Indian spice versus Chinese spice versus Thai. It's like there's different kinds of spice. I love Indian food too. That spice is a lot for me. But
Yeah.
for some reason, Thai food is like a little bit more manageable. Maybe
Yeah.
it's more curry in Indian food, but there's curry in Thai food too. Um, yeah, I don't know, but I think those would be my answers.
Yeah.
So
All right. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
I like it. I eat it on pizza, sure.
Ugh.
It's not like my go-to, but I'll eat it. What I actually really like is the barbecue chicken pizza that has Hawaiian on it, that has pineapple on it. It's like called a barbecue Hawaiian, I guess.
Yeah. Now that would probably be okay. But
Yeah.
I don't like pineapple anyway.
Well, that's
But
a thing.
even just hearing like pineapple as a topping just seems weird to me.
It does seem weird because like, why don't you have apple on your pizza? And I guess there are like fancier restaurants that do like flatbreads. They have like apples on them, like
Yeah.
like that is a thing. But grapes on a pizza, why not any of those other things? Like if you're gonna do pineapple, but yeah,
Just make a fruit pizza. There you go.
right. But don't have like cheese and sauce. That's weird.
Yeah, that would be. See,
It would be more like a
that's where
dessert.
I get thrown off with the pineapple.
It would be a dessert pizza. Then see, yeah, but for some reason the pineapple, the way it mixes, like doesn't
It
buy.
just works.
You tried it? Have you tried it?
No, because I don't eat pineapple.
No. Well, I think
So that's the issue with me.
I think if you could try it, you'd be surprised. But I don't. It's not like I'm just eating a pizza with just pineapple. It's what
Yeah.
it's got to accentuate the other things.
Right. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Besides your music, obviously, who is your go-to? Who do you love to listen to the most?
A few different people for sure. I mean, I'm always listening to new stuff, but Van Halen died recently. That was really sad for me. He's one of my biggest influences.
Oh yeah.
As a guitar player for sure, but even as like a songwriter, musician, like he's one of a kind. So I love listening to Van Halen. I love Eric Church. Eric Church is probably the reason I'm here. John Mayer, Bruce Springsteen, Queen, big Thomas Rhett fan, Sam Hunt.
Yeah. Oh, you named some good ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I also like listening to a lot of old school classic rock. There's a lot more. So, but those are probably like the high key. Like
So your playlist would look similar to mine. You have like a wide range.
Jake Owen's up there for me too. I've been listening to Hardy a lot recently. His new record's amazing, and Morgan Wallen's cool too, and I know he's got some new stuff that just came out. So, but I'm a big fan of like kind of all those kind of big loud guys like the FGLs and the, not everything they do is great, but I think when they nail it, it's like
Oh yeah.
great. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely. And as an artist myself, it's like I like that big sound. I'm like going for that bigger rock. It's like rock and influence for sure, because that's what I grew up listening to as well.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Are you like spontaneous, or is everything got to be planned? Like if you and your girlfriend were gonna, go somewhere, on a day date, whatever, are you going to plan it out to the max, or are you just spontaneous and you'll just go with the flow?
I think it depends on the context. I think with my girlfriend specifically, most of the time we're going with the flow, and that's okay with me. But it really depends on where we're going and why and what we're doing.
You strike me as the type that would have to like have an itinerary and have it planned.
Like when we've done trips to like more destination type things, and it's like there are specific things I want to hit.
Yeah.
I want it. So it's like I'm kind of in the middle, I guess, like with all my answers. It's never just black and white for me. It's like I want it. There's certain key things I want to hit. How we get there is whatever, and whatever's in between is fine. I just want to make sure I like cross check those boxes. So
yeah, you sound like me there. That's the way I am on vacation. And because wherever I'm going, there's definitely certain things that I want to see, and I want to make sure I see it. And then like, okay, the rest of the time it's like, whatever, I don't care.
The thing that's funny, like if I want to go to a museum, like she's a big art person and I love art too, and going to museums of all kinds, but she has kind of a bit of and if she ever sees this, she'll probably yell at me, but she's a bit smaller of an attention span. She's very smart and like very deeply analytical and all these things. But like, if we're at a museum, like I'm going to be the one to read all the little plaques and everything, like, and she's going to be like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, no, I have to read it all. So
that's me. And my husband would be the one saying, come on, let's go. Yeah. And I'm like, but wait, I want to see what this says.
Right. I'm the same way. So,
oh yeah.
It's funny.
All right. One more, and then I'm gonna let you go. Sure. What's on the top of your bucket list of like a place that you want to visit, like destination we were just talking about? So
I mean, that's very
bucket list.
That's relevant for the new song. Sure. Anywhere, can't take you anywhere. So definitely. I mean, some of the places I listed in the song, I would love to go to South America. I almost studied abroad there in college. But I studied abroad in Spain, which was also awesome. I never got to go to Italy while I was over there. And so that's definitely a place I'd love to go.
Yeah.
I think probably my number one though is Japan. Me and my girlfriend have talked about it a lot. I really want to go to Japan. I love Japanese. That's another food I forgot to mention.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Japanese. I love sushi. Japanese food, the culture, the history, the cuisine, the everything is just so fascinating to me. It's an island of wonder. And I'd love to like, for a honeymoon, go there for like a month and a half with her or something.
Wow. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like when you go to places like that, you really need
you need time.
2 weeks. Like a week is just not enough time to go to a foreign country and really immerse yourself in it.
Unless you're staying in like the one city, but still, no, I mean, every part of Japan has its own thing that's interesting. I want to literally start at the top and go to the bottom. It seems so cool. I did karate growing up, and like so much of our culture, like our popular culture, is intertwined with theirs, and we feed off each other. And like TV shows growing up, and and they love country music, they love classic rock, they love guitar. That whole expression, like I'm big in Japan kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just really want to go. I really, really want to go.
Well, maybe you'll be big in Japan and they'll have you come over there and
that'd be freaking awesome.
Go on a Japanese tour. That would be cool.
That would be the dopest thing in the world. I would love that.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. You never know.
Never know.
Crazier things have happened, right?
They certainly have.
Well, Dan, I have loved having you on. Thanks for spending a few extra minutes and the extra song. Appreciate that. Everybody, if y'all haven't already, again, Dan Harrison, Can't Take You Anywhere, fresh out yesterday. So go download that. And how soon can we look forward to the video on that? Or is there?
Like I said, so the music video is in the works right now. Yeah. I haven't announced the other stuff yet, but it'll be over the next, probably the acoustic video will be out probably in the next week or so.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah.
So yeah, we're kind of rolling it out sort of gradually, but it'll be here soon. Definitely, hopefully music video within the month. Everything's shot. It's just, getting it edited and all.
Yeah. And that takes time.
Yeah. So
awesome. All right. Well, stay in touch. We'll definitely, I'm going to keep in touch of what you've got going on and letting everybody know about. So, and just a reminder, I haven't fixed it today. I've been kind of behind a little bit, but of course, your song was Song of the Day yesterday. So I'm going to set up voting for Song of the Week here shortly. So Dan's people, y'all better go vote for him.
Oh.
All right. But thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. It's always great having you on. And I wish you the best and everything. And I know you're super excited to go home next week. So
yes, for sure.
If I don't talk to you before, safe travels. Enjoy your holiday with your family and your girlfriend, and just have a blast.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, everybody that I think Sarah tuned in watching, anybody else that might have tuned in live, those that will watch the replay. Certainly do appreciate you tuning in. And I will see y'all again Monday night. It's going to be something special. So make sure you're in. All right. All right. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care.